Hey there, it's Chris Murray with Child Care Marketing Solutions, coming at you with another weekly success video tip. And this is actually a two-parter. So in the first part of this topic, which is parent and staff surveys, I'm going to give you the best practices around why you should be surveying your parents and staff, how often to do so, kind of the mechanics around what you need to put in place to automate your market research and get great voice of customer and voice of staff. And then the second part of this video series, we'll talk about the questions that you should be asking on your survey, the content, how to use the information that you get back, and then how to leverage those results, and even how to support a price increase. So that'll be really great. You don't want to miss that video coming on in a couple weeks. So in this video, let's talk about just the basic mechanics. If you're not doing surveys, what do we recommend that you do? So most of our Child Care Success Academy members and clients use an online survey tool because it does make it so easy in today's digital age, assuming that you have your parents' email addresses, which I'm hoping that you do, to be able to reach out to them every 6 months or 12 months and easily ask a set of questions to get their feedback. We usually use a tool called SurveyMonkey, and you can learn more about that at surveymonkey.com. I use the tool myself all the time. I use it to ask people before they come to one of my events what they want to get out of it, and then following up with people. I also use it to reach out to my existing members, my customers, and find out different aspects of their experience and what they're looking for from me. So it's been a highly valuable tool for building my business, and it's definitely a best practice for you to build your retention, to identify customer service issues, and be able just to work on continuous improvement in your program. So surveymonkey.com, you can get, I believe, a free account for a survey that's 10 questions or less. They used to offer it as a free membership. And you can get in there for as little as 10 to 15 bucks a month if you want a little bit more functionality in your account. And I think it's well worth it to pay that. So you can go to surveymonkey.com. I think you can sign up for a trial and check it out, and I highly recommend that you do so, especially if you're not using a tool. And there's other ones out there as well. I believe Constant Contact has a survey mechanism included in the membership, so if you're a Constant Contact member, you can check that out. And there's others online. So the point is to use some kind of a system that is email driven, so that it's all automated and captured in one place, preferably online. Then you can just have it, and you can have it historically, and you don't have to deal with paper. The problem with using just paper surveys and trying to put them in parent cubbies is that you won't get near the response rate that you would get if you used like a SurveyMonkey. So, so the first thing you need is the email addresses of all your parents, right? And you need a way to blast out to them, some kind of an email blasting system that you're going to send them over to a link on SurveyMonkey and for them to go fill out the survey. Pretty easy to do. You need some kind of a survey tool. And then what kind of response rate should you be looking for? So with my SurveyMonkey surveys, I typically see, our clients also see around a 25 to 35% response rate is I would call that kind of industry standard. Anything more than that is great. That means they're highly engaged with you. And anything less than that, it means obviously the opposite. And you need to strive to try to engage them better. Or, if you do it through the cubbies and through a paper system, you might not even get a 10% response rate because that paper is going to end up on the floor of the car or in the backpack, and it's just not going to get seen. So the email system, the SurveyMonkey system, allows you to do another best practice, which is that you want to set it up, you want to e-blast it out, and then you want to remind parents. So the next step is to look at setting a deadline for your survey. So let's say that, so today is May 1st, so I would make my deadline no later than May 10th, for example, for your survey to be responded to. And so give them a period of typically 7 to 12 days. Nothing more than that, because again, in their mind, they're thinking, oh, I've got 3 weeks to answer this survey. I'm going to put it off, and then they'll never get to it. So you want to make it a fairly tight time frame and set a deadline for response, okay? And then right before that deadline, so if your deadline is May 10th, you would reach back out to them, I'm thinking twice, maybe on the 8th and then on the 10th as a final reminder to go fill out the survey. And don't worry, they're not going to feel like you're bugging them. It's just, and really what you want to do is twist it around that, if you help us give us feedback, we're going to be able to respond to you, parents, much better than if you blow it off. And so kind of just giving them the reason why that you want them to go fill it out. Another great thing to improve response rate is to give them some kind of an incentive or reward. So what I typically do is something like, and then tied into this is making the name optional. So you want to, let's talk about name optional first, because then that defines reward. So you want to, at the very end of your survey, say that this survey is anonymous, but if you'd like to give your name optionally at the bottom of the survey, then we will put you into a drawing for an iPad. So anybody that fills out the survey will get X. That way, if they want to feel free to say things about you that maybe they haven't had a great experience, they'll have the freedom to do so without retribution, and they don't have to give their name, which will give you more honest results. But giving that name optional field so that you can give a prize is a great incentive to, again, get that response. It's just one more thing that will push them over the edge. So that's name optional, which is then tied into an incentive or a reward. You can also reward everybody that gives you a survey. You could say anybody that gives us their name and gives us the survey gets a $5 Starbucks card just as a thank you for your time or something. So that's optional as well. And then, and so then you want to think about, what does your survey want? What are the goals of your survey? What are you trying to get out of it? For a parent survey, I like to have consistent content and have it be measurable over time. So there's certain ways that, and I'm going to talk about this in the next video in this series, is how to structure your questions on your surveys to make them actionable, give you actionable results, because a lot of times I've seen surveys that have questions that are worded in a way that they're not really actionable. It's not actionable data, and that's an important thing. So we'll talk about that next time. As well as the importance of keeping your questions consistent and your rating scales consistent so that you can have trending information and see if you've improved or declined in your customer service aspects. So those are kind of all of the mechanics and the nuts and bolts of your survey. Email addresses, blast it out, SurveyMonkey, 30% response rate is what you're looking for. Have a deadline, have an incentive or reward, make the name optional. And all of those things will help you have you won't spend a lot of time setting it up, because you can pull that survey up from last time on SurveyMonkey, you can do a few updates, and you'll have your survey out in less than an hour. Versus trying to do it on paper could take you several hours. So this whole automated system that I'm describing to you will save you tons of time, and it will give you great results that are actually already compiled for you. So that's the final point that I want to make about using SurveyMonkey or another tool, is that all the results come in, and all of your responses, your 1 through 10s, your average ratings, and your results are all laid out for you in beautiful bar charts and graphs, and you don't have to do any monkeying around with it, no pun intended, to figure out what those results say. It's all automated. So with SurveyMonkey, you set it up and it gives you a link. It's a simple link to your survey, and then you just copy paste that link into your blast and send it out, in case you're wondering how that works. And that's it. So I hope that structure has given you enough to feel comfortable to get started if you're not surveying currently. So your homework item is to start surveying if you haven't, and look at surveying once per year on a minimum, and also to survey your staff and teachers as well. And you want to ask them questions that are actionable. And we'll talk about, on the next video in this series, we'll talk about the content, how to make it actionable, how to use the information in your business, and how to leverage those results. All right? So this has been Chris Murray from childcare-marketing.com with another weekly success tip. If you liked this and you got value out of it, please do click the like button here on this page, and you can share it, and I would love that. You can also forward this to a friend who might want to use the information. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to catch the next part of this video. Bye-bye.